As you can see, my games have still not been set up after Texas Pinball Festival. I told my daughter to clean her room today, and she asked me how come I haven't put the pinball machines back up. And I was like, well, it's because I don't feel like it right now. And her response was that, well, she doesn't feel like cleaning her room right now. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to her turning into a teenager. What's up, guys, and welcome back to my channel where I talk and do everything pinball. And I'm going to be talking about Texas Pinball Festival. The show is now over, so let's see how it went. And I know a lot of you out there want me to go into further details of my thoughts and opinions about some of these newer games, like Pulp Fiction, Scooby-Doo, Galactic Tank Force. All those will be separate videos, so stay tuned for that. I want to start this video off by a special thank you to the showrunners, Kim and Ed Vanderveen, Paul McKinney, all the volunteers out there that contributed their time and efforts in order for this show to continuously run without any kind of major issues, to Pinball Restorations ERS for helping out many of you out there with your games to keep them running. And let me go off into the weeds just a little bit here. There are some of you exhibitors out there that I expect better from. Honestly, I do. There were definitely a few games on the floor that were down the entire show. And granted, there are things that can happen in transit. I'm well aware of that. My Johnny Mnemonic was one of them. Things can happen in transit that need to be repaired. But a lot of the times, those are due to shaking, so maybe a loose connector, a plug can come undone or something like that. But there was definitely games that were down hard and the issues are not transit related. And I would hope that you did not use your dead game to get a free ticket in for the weekend. I would hope that. I expect better from those of you out there that did that, because it's well notified and documented that some of these games were down hard on arrival. And while we're at it, I guess I will go on one more little tangent. My voice is still recovering from the show, guys. I do not have my beautiful voice as I typically do, so bear with me on this. But as I was stating, that one more tangent, this happened this morning on Facebook. Someone decided to post in the DFW arcade page. They posted this. Now, I'm going to keep this individual anonymous because I don't feel like he needs to be acknowledged, and I don't want to promote his name because I think he's close to about as worthless. There's not many things that trigger me, guys, but because a lot of things will water, especially if it's insulting me or whatever, water up a duck's back. Don't care, I move on. But for whatever reason, when I read this, I was triggered. And I think it's because I know a lot more about what goes on behind the scenes than he does. And he obviously, when reading his responses to certain people, has no clue either, but he thinks he does. So with that being said, I'm going to keep him anonymous, but this was what he stated openly on Facebook for everyone else to read. It would be really nice if the Pinball Festival wasn't in Frisco at a tiny convention center. There are so many larger convention centers in much better locations. Close to airports, with more space. Sucks the people who run it are too lazy to drive beyond the suburb they live in. Now, after a short amount of time, an admin did kick him from the group, and the comments were turned off because, like I anticipated, shit was headed his way. My response was, it's not often I get triggered, but this just did it. The showrunners are not lazy. The amount of work involved to get this show going and running without a major problem is mind-boggling. I would never wish that amount of work on anyone. They are obviously doing something right when all the other shows are following suit on what they choose to do. When it comes to the event location, I agree that the show has grown so large that the venue size needs an upgrade. But the reasoning behind why they choose the embassy has nothing to do where they live, especially when they spend a lot of their time in Florida. You have the right to express your opinion, but beware you are about to have a shitstorm of hate headed your way due to the amount of respect people have for the show and the showrunners. Now, I'm only going to spend a little bit more time on this because I feel like there was one other individual that made one more comment towards this guy that says everything that needed to be said. I honestly wish that I would have responded the way this person did, but granted, he was responding to a comment that this individual did. Anyways, this is what happened. Mike could give two shits about sucking up to people. The Frisco Convention Center is too small for that kind of event. The price of the festival is way too high, and they lean on others to bring machines to them way too much while being rude and giving way too little to people who bring their games. I'd rather go to Pinballs, spend less money, and stay in Austin. And this is where the best comment is made. Mike's response is, I think I speak for everyone who has ever participated in TPF when I say, please do. Mike, drop. And I say that in more ways than one. Good job, Mike. You did a very good, simple, yeah, if you don't like it, you have all these issues with it, then stay in Austin. Go to Pinball's Arcade. We don't want you there anyways. And the other thing is that I don't see this individual's name on the exhibitor list. He didn't bring a game. He's got no skin in the game. So I don't really feel like we're going to miss you, guy. All right, so enough of talking about that. I just thought it had a nice little funny ending to it. But loading in and loading out process. As per usual, the load in and load out process was very straightforward. And my experience, there was no issues. Everything went off like a hitch. And that was due to the amount of volunteers that knew what they were doing and what needed to be done. And speaking of loading in, according to the TPF website, there should have been at least 334 games there, and that includes arcade machines and stuff like that. Their registry had a total of 334 machines that were going to be loaded into that convention center in total. And that's a good amount. Now, like I stated earlier, some of those were dead machines. But also, a good deal of those games that are not on the list were games that were brought in from the manufacturers. I believe Spooky brought in 6 of their Scooby-Doos. There was 4 Pulp Fictions. There was 6 Galactic Tank Force machines, 20 Foo Fighters, and I think around 8 Godfathers, and one of those being a collector's edition. Now, you may be asking, why are you talking about how many games were supposed to be there and stuff like that? Is because there were lines. And this was one of my biggest, downers of the show, was that, yes, there was a lot of people there. And a lot of people were waiting on particular games, most of which were your Pulp Fiction. But the thing is, if you have a lot of your older games that aren't working or didn't get brought in general, we're losing our bandwidth. So the thousands of people that come to this show have less options. And so they're going to go to the new shiny Pulp Fiction and stuff like that when they could also be going to the other games that might be available for play. And I don't know if this is right. I don't have the data to back up my theory or analysis of this, but I really do feel that we had a lacking of exhibitors this year. And I don't know why, but I feel like there was less games that were brought by exhibitors than usual. So it is honestly a good thing that we had so many manufacturers release these games when they did. Because I don't know if this show could have been as good as it could have been due to the amount of exhibitors that didn't bring a game. So in a nutshell on this topic, I'm glad the manufacturers brought as many games as they did. Exhibitors, we really need to step up our game next year. We had a lot of good vendors and mod makers that were all around the show, sprinkled throughout, one of which was the one that I recently did some video stuff for, and that was the TZ Topper. I hope a lot of you got to see that. and I got to conversation with other mod makers and other, people that are doing products for pinball, had conversations with them. And if things continue this way, then I should have some interesting things to show you guys in the near future. Thursday night, I hosted the Simpsons Pinball Party unboxing, and spoiler alert, there was no battery damage on the boards. The game fired right up. It plays perfectly. The Pinball Elite Restorations did a complete, clean, rubber change out, LED conversion on the machine, and it was raffled off on Sunday, and I believe the people that got it couldn't have been happier. Now let's talk about food trucks, something that I was pretty excited about, guys. I remember walking out there, it might have been Friday night, maybe even in the afternoon. I walked out there expecting to see like 4 or 5 trucks like I've seen in the past, including last year. Walk out there, I see one. I was like, where the hell are all the damn trucks? So instead of getting food truck food, something interesting and to eat, then the wife maybe take her to Olive Garden. So there's $100 right there. So I don't know why there were not as many food trucks as usual. I don't know what happened there, but hopefully next year that improves. Especially when they had to close up the swap meet as fast as they possibly could because they needed to make room for the food trucks that were allegedly supposed to be there, and one showed up. Speaking of swap meet, I didn't get to go this time around because Friday I may have had a little bit too much to drink. There may have been Jägermeister involved, and I have never had good experiences with that stuff. I don't know why I drank it this time around, but it didn't do good for me, okay? So I was recovering Saturday morning, so I was not going to that swap meet, even though I really did need to go because I wanted to get rid of a bunch of stuff. So that sucked. So if you saw me Saturday morning and I looked like hell, that's why. And Friday for lunch, I did go to Perry's. I had the usual delicious lunch pork chop. I was really looking forward to this thing for too long. It's a little embarrassing how long I was waiting for it. But I got it, enjoyed it, and I'm not one to take pictures and stuff like that of my food, guys. I'm really not. When I see people doing that at restaurants, I laugh because it's just laughable. But there I was recording a video and taking pictures of this masterpiece that got placed in front of me. What you say? Comment down below if you too got your visit to Perry's at TPF weekend. One of the big things also that one of my main reasons for really enjoying this show is that I get to see a lot of people that I only get to see at this show or any pinball convention, but mainly this is the only show where I get to see certain people. So one time a year, I only get to see certain friends. So it's always something I look forward to because we get to play a little bit of catch up and chit chat back and forth about life as well as, pinball, of course. But, a lot of people that out there in the pinball podcasting world or streaming and everything, I get to chit chat back and forth with all these good people and everything, even though it's usually only once or twice a year that we meet. And that, of course, includes meeting a lot of you out there, my fans. And I hate to say that. It sounds weird, but a lot of you yourselves use that words when you come and shake my hand, is that you say you are a fan of my channel. So I'm going to say that when a lot of you watchers, viewers, subscribers, my fellow Patreons, all of you that support me in a good way or bad way or whatever, I get to finally meet and shake your hand and talk pinball. And it's always a great thing. It always puts a smile on my face. I appreciate that so much. It's always a great thing for a content creator to be let known that they have made some sort of impact on how they repair or restore their games or how they look at any kind of new release. I mean, I could go on and on about this, but thank you very much for all of you out there that came up to me and to let me know that you appreciate what I do. Thank you. Now, Saturday night was also the Twippy Awards. I was there to view it entirely. I didn't have a trophy to present or a category to present this year, which I'm totally fine with. I didn't win, but I got second runner-up, which I'm also totally fine with. So, great show, Twippy Awards. There was no major malfunctions or anything. We had a lot of issues last year. This year, it seemed to go off without a hitch. So, by all means, bravo, way to go, William, and the whole team that was involved in making it happen. The Game Rush took home Game of the Year. Congratulations to you, John Borg, and Stern Pinball and the whole team there. Well deserved. Now, Sunday's always the worst day, and I say that because after the first 2 or 3 days of this, you're kind of ready to go home, and we're all like dreading packing up our games and stuff like that. So a lot of us look like hell, but we make it all the way through Sunday, and then it's time for the Best of Show Awards. So those of us exhibitors that brought in our game that we spent time on to hopefully be recognized, that is the moment. So it's one of those things where a good amount of my friends, we're all competing against each other, but we're also helping each other out. So there was times where certain games had an issue or whatever, and we were right there to get them what they needed, whether it be a tool or a part or anything like that. We've got each other's backs, as well as we support each other in winning these awards. Now, for those that are not aware, I cannot win the Best of Show award 2 times in a row. That's one of the rules. So even if I was eligible this year, guys, I'm well aware that my Johnny Mnemonic wasn't going to be worthy of it. It was one of those, I've come over time, I've come to the realization that in order to win that Best of Show award, you kind of have to go to the next level. And as my Johnny Mnemonic finale video, I clearly stated that I didn't feel like I went to the next level with that game. Yes, it looked great. I mean, it's one of the best Johnny Mnemonics that you'll ever see, but I didn't take it to the next level to really make it stand out and pop. But I took home 2 awards this year. I took home an award for Johnny Mnemonic. It was runner-up for Best Restoration. I wasn't anticipating that. I thought it was going to be in the 90s category, but Best Restoration, I'm fine with that as well, because I did put a lot of effort into restoring that. I've got a whole video series documenting all the work that went into it. My friend Kevin Moore took home the Best Restoration Award for his Mrs. Pac-Man machine, the arcade pinball version, Baby Pac-Man. Yeah, not only did he take the award for that one being the best one, but he also got it done from start to finish within a few weeks too. So, but like I said, well deserved. He did a great job, and if I'm going to lose to somebody, it's going to be him. So he's a force to be reckoned with when it comes to restores. So props to him. And the other award I got was for my Last Action Hero for runner-up in the 90s. And my friend Lonnie Payne won Best for 90s with his Back to the Future. And I'm kind of kicking myself for this because I kind of encouraged him to bring that game. Before the show, he's like, I'm kind of figuring if I should bring this game or that game. And I was like, dude, bring your Back to the Future. I encouraged him to bring this game. Little did I know that it was going to be the game that knocked me out of running or possibly getting, the best 90s pinball machine. But like I said, if I'm going to lose to somebody, I would definitely prefer it to be my friends. So without a doubt, congratulations to Lonnie. Congratulations to you, Kevin, on your awards. We'll see what happens next year, guys. Now, I definitely feel like I'm forgetting to mention something that happened over the weekend or something like that I need to express a special thank you or something, and I apologize if I did forget to mention somebody or something, but in a nutshell, I really had a great weekend. I look forward to the next one. I would say that I can't wait, but currently, since it just finished and I'm still feeling the exhaustion from it, I can currently wait. And I know that those of you out there that were exhibitors and the showrunners and everything, I'm pretty sure you can wait too. For my thoughts and opinions on the newest games that were there for me to play, I will be making separate videos on there like I said at the beginning of these, so stay tuned for that. For those of you that made it to Texas Pinball Festival this year, let me know in the comments section down below what was your favorite part. Did you play my Johnny Mnemonic or my Last Action Hero or my Grand Champion Getaway? If you did, let me know in the comments section down below. And until next time, guys, peace out.